So Dataloader is a ETL tool provided by the Salesforce. We can perform operations of export, insert, update, delete, and upset. We can perform operations like export, insert, update, delete, and upset. Dataloader supports up to 5 million records. Dataloader supports up to 5 million records. Then how to install the Dataloader? Steps to install Dataloader. Steps to install Dataloader. Am I audible now? Steps to install Dataloader.
Hello?
Yes. Are you able to hear me? Are you able to hear me? Right. Fine. Right. Let me go with the steps to install. If you want to install Dataloader, we have to follow the navigation.
Satish, I can't hear you. Is there any problem from your side or I don't know, rather my side? If it is my side, it's okay.
Let me check out. Is everyone is able to hear me? Am I audible to everyone? Am I audible to everyone? Right.
Sir.
Yeah.
Yes, Satish, you are audible.
Venkat, reconnect. Right. Now, what are the steps that we have to install? Setup. We have administer. Data management. Dataloader. Download the Dataloader for Windows. So let me give you the navigation here on the screen. Setup, administer, data management, Dataloader, then we have download the Dataloader for Windows. So we are downloading the .exe file. So once you download, it's a exe file. Once you download, it's a exe file. Meanwhile, it takes some time. Meanwhile, let me. Okay. Then it is exe file. We are going to install this exe file. Once you install this exe file, how to log in? Once you install this exe file, how to log in? So let me go to my so we have exe file. Click on the exe file, agree the terms, give next, next, next. Just it is exe file. Oops, I guess Java is not available on my system. 1 minute. Java is available, but it is expecting some latest version, I guess. (64-bit). Retired. You are using a Google Chrome. So basically, the data loader is a exe file which was built on Spring 2.x. The tool was internally built on Spring 2.x. Oops, then it takes some time now. So meanwhile, it is opening. We like just request the front desk. They'll give you, they'll forward the interview question. Bunch is more than enough for your preparation. If you have any queries, we can discuss on that. So let me go with the data loader again. Now the data loader is installed. Just it is a exe file. Click on next, next, next. It will install. Now once it is installed, I want to import the data. I want to insert the data. When you want to insert the data into the data loader, now look at the format. I want to insert the new records into the data loader. New records using the data loader. So when I want to create a new student, just taking the name of the student, start date, and course fee. Course, we have course name. Let us take any one of the object. Let me take customer name, phone number, city. I want to insert couple of customers using the ATL tool. So what I need to do, first create a source data. Create the source data. The fields are, let us say, name, phone. Now I created some source data. This data I want to upload into the Salesforce. First, save this Excel sheet. Save this Excel sheet as CSV file. Save this Excel sheet as CSV file. Comma separated values. Store this as CSV file. Then click on insert. That is asking log into your application. You want to log into your application. What is that? OAuth or password authentication. Any one format we can use. If you want to log in using OAuth, choose whether it's a production or sandbox. Then click on login. It will ask you for username, password. Then log into the account. It will ask for email verification. Hello. Then you are successfully logged in. So if it is authentication, choose the environment, enter the username, password. It is the first time. It will send the verification code OTP to your email, registered email and mobile. Re-enter those OTP. Then you will be able to log in. Now I want to log in using password and authentication. I don't want to go with this. I want to log in using password authentication. So what I have to do is, so let me log out. If you want to log in with the password authentication, go to the account, username, my settings, personal. You are able to see reset my security token. Click on that reset my security token, reset. I repeat the navigation, username, my settings, personal, reset my security token, reset the token. Then you get the security token to your registered email ID. Security token will be forwarded. Now enter your password authentication. When you say password authentication, username, password followed by security token. Password followed by security token. So you have to enter username. You have to enter username, password followed by security token. Giving here, let's see. Maybe security token, some blank space I might have copied. Close this. Okay. Let me type here. What is my account? Username, password followed by security token. Oops, still it's seeing the same issue. Fine. I'll provide the solution. Now, what I will do, setup, manage users, profiles, system administrator. Then I will enable the IP address for him. System administrator. Login IP ranges. Right. So if enable IP address when you're trying to log in, password authentication. Now no need to enter the security token. So it's not problem with the security token. It's problem with my username. Okay, fine. Let me check out what was the problem here. Go to the login history. It says remote. So no registration. So there is something wrong with my username. Right. Let me give it. Are you able to see my screen? Are you able to see my screen? Right. So it says it is success here, but it's doing fine. Let's not waste much time on it. I'm going with authentication. Choose the environment, production, login, access. Once you logged in, then now I want to insert the data. Once you logged in, if you want to insert the data, then choose into which object you want to insert the data. I want to insert the data into customer object. Choose the object, then choose the file where your source data is available. Choose the file where your source data is available. So it's a customer. The next it is asking which fields in the Salesforce should be mapped with these three fields. These are the three fields which are available in the Excel sheet. These are the fields which are available in the table. Now I say auto match. So the fields of the Salesforce are automatically mapped with the Excel sheet. If any one of the field is not mapping, you have to manually drag and drop and map it. Then next, where you want to show the destination, where you want to show the destination files, success or error files. Finish. Then there are three successful inserts in the database. The following three records are inserted. Now, once they are inserted, what I want to do is I want to update the data. I want to update the data. If you want to update the data, what should I do? Go back here. What are the records you want to update? Choose the records. I want to update the data. So when you want to update the data, whenever we are trying to update the data, it is must that you have to provide a Salesforce record ID. Whenever you are trying to update, it is a must that you have to enable record ID. You have to provide record ID. Only when you provide the record ID, we will be able to update the data. So let us see this. Now go to the data loader again. It is a update operation. Select update. Choose the object. Choose the source file. Choose the source file. My source file is success file. Open. Now there are three records which I am trying to update. Create a mapping. When you're creating a mapping, you can manually map or click on auto map. You can manually map it or click on auto match. Then OK. Next. Finish. So what happened? There are three records which are updated successfully. So when you want to update the data or when you want to update the data, provide the source file first. When you want to update the data, provide the source file. Once you provide the source file, the corresponding records are going to be updated. So how do you recognize the record? Whenever we are trying to update, we have to provide the Salesforce record ID. When you provide the Salesforce record ID, based on that ID, Salesforce recognize the existing record and update the existing record. Right. Similarly, I want to delete. When you want to delete, click on delete, choose the object, provide the source file, and click on next. When you want to delete, you have to provide a Salesforce record ID. Whenever we are trying to update the record or whenever you are trying to delete the record, it is a must that you have to provide Salesforce record ID. Click on finish. Now records are getting deleted. There are three records which are deleted. So we can insert the data, we can update the data, or we can delete the data. Insert, update, delete. Let us understand export. When you say export, whatever the data we want to take from the Salesforce, we can export. Yes, we can do it. But if it's a single record, then there is no need of ETL. We can manually do it. We generally use the ETL when you are working with bulk data. Right. Then go to the object, choose the file where you want to extract. I want to extract the file to the desktop. Then which fields you want to export. Choose the fields which you want to export. Select ID, name, create a date. Some fields you have selected. So whatever the fields you want to export, select the fields. You want to apply some where condition, you can apply the where condition. It's your choice. Then finish. When you say export, it is going to export the data. So how many records are exported? Only one record is exported. Now I'll try to perform the next operation. Export all. When I click on export all, choose the customer, browse, next, choose ID, finish. When you exported all, how many records are exported? 5 records. Now why we are getting 5 records when you say export all? If you go to customer object, look at number of records in the customer. How many records are there in the customer? Only one record. Then how we are getting 5 records? When you say export all, the records which are in the recycle bin, even those records are exported. When I say export, only the records which are in the table are exported. When I say export all, the records which are in the recycle bin, even those records are exported. That is how we got 5 records. Now that depends upon the data loader which you are giving. Now these are the options available for everyone. These are the options available for everyone. But if you want, you can avoid bulk operations. If you want, you can avoid the bulk operations, right? Anyone who install this, by default, these options are available for everyone. Right. Now, we have done insert, we have done update, we have done delete, we have done export and export all. Now what I'm doing, I'm trying to delete all the records. Delete, customer object, close the file. Now again I'm trying to delete the records. Now when I'm providing some records, the records which are already deleted also I'm providing. Then what happened? From this we understand, is it an atomic operation or a non-atomic operation? So what happened? One record is successful, 4 records are errors. Why? Because already the 4 records are deleted. So again you are trying to delete, it throws error message. By looking at this, we understand whether this is a atomic operation or non-atomic operation. By default, it is non-atomic operation, which means if any one of the record fails, only that record will fail, rest of the records will continue to execute. That is the reason data loader will execute as a non-atomic operation. Data loader will execute as a non-atomic operation. Right. Now we are trying to understand the concept of insert one more time. But before creating an insert, I was quickly trying to create one of the new field in the customer view fields. I'm creating a field. Let us say number field I'm creating. Then here we have option called external ID. That means whenever we are loading the data from external system, if you want to check whether data is existing or not, based on which field you say data is existing. Now I want to say upset. When you say upset, if data is already existing, update. If record is not existing, create. But based on which field you specify that record is existing. When I want to say that record is a duplicate record, you have to tell me on what basis you said the record is duplicate. On what basis you said record is duplicate. When you say record is a duplicate record, you have to compare based on a particular field. Only when you compare based on a particular field, then we decide the record is existing or not. So the field based on which you want to compare whether the record exists or not, that field we defined as external ID field. The option of external ID will come only when you are trying to create text, number and email. So the external ID fields can be only number fields, text fields or email ID fields. So whichever the field you defined as external ID field, based on that field, we can compare whether data exists or not. If the data already exists, then it is going to update the data. If it doesn't exist, it is going to throw error message. Now what I will do, now look at this. I'm trying to insert the data. Now when I'm trying to insert the records, look at the format. Name, phone, city, external. Now I'm creating here Sham 111, city is Hyderabad, external ID 1, Kiran 222, Bangalore, external ID is 2, Hari 333, Hyderabad, external ID is 3. So I have created it. Look at the one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. So before doing this operation, first go to Dataloader. Relog into the Dataloader. Right. So what I'm doing, already in the student object, in the customer object, I'm getting a few records here. External ID 1. So already there are two records which exist in the database with the external ID called 1 and 2. With external ID 1 and 2, already the record exists. With 3 and 4, the records doesn't exist. With 5, the record doesn't exist, but you are providing duplicate IDs. So already in the database, we have two records with external ID 1 and 2. In database, we don't have records with external ID 4 and 5, 3 and 4. In database, we don't have records with external ID 3 and 4. In the database, we don't have the external ID 5, but there are two duplicate records with the same ID. Now, what will happen in this scenario? Let me log into the data loader once again. Upset. Login. So I'm trying to make an upset operation. Choose the customer. Choose the file. Customer. Now choose the file, customer. Then next, there are 6 records. Yes. Now it is showing my ID or external. If you don't provide any ID, if you don't provide any external ID, by default it takes Salesforce record ID as external ID. If you don't provide any external ID, by default it takes Salesforce record ID as external ID. Choose my ID. Next, map the fields. External ID is not matching, so manually map it. Done. So what is this? If that external ID already exists, it will update. Doesn't exist, it will create. Next, click on finish. Now look at the records. There are 4 successful records. Out of 4, 1 and 2 are updated, 3 and 4 are created. 1 and 2 are updated, 3 and 4 are created. Then why 1 and 2, 3, 4 are updated? Now what about the 5? When there are 2 duplicate records, both the records are failure. When two records have the same external ID, both the records are failure. So how many records are created? Only 2 records are created and 2 records are updated. Let us see total how many records are there. So total 4 records, 1 and 2 are updated, 3 and 4 are created. What about 5, 5? If there is any duplicate ID, if there is any duplicate ID provided, if there is any duplicate ID provided, both the records will fail. So look at this, Faraz and Wilson are failure because they have duplicate external ID. So whenever we are trying to perform update operation, we need to provide a record ID. Whenever you want to perform upset operation, we have to provide external ID. If you don't provide any external ID, by default it takes Salesforce record ID as external ID. Now question is, which fields can be taken as external ID fields? Only number fields, text fields and email fields can be taken as external ID fields. Right. People are clear with this format? Any further queries from your end? Any further queries from your end? Any further queries from your end? Any further queries? Anyone has any queries on this? So you can download the running notes from my Facebook community. So I just repeat the points what I have discussed. Dataloader is a ETL tool provided by the Salesforce to perform insert, update, upset, delete, and export all operation. The steps to download the Dataloader: setup, administer, data management, Dataloader, download the Dataloader for Windows or Mac, whatever it is. How to install? Select the dataloader.exe file, click on run, agree the terms, next, next and finish. So once you're done with this, in case you never enable SSL, then if you're getting any error called SSL or TLS error, if you're getting any SSL or TLS error, what we need to do is go to settings, you'll be finding internet options, click on the internet options, go to the advanced, when you scroll down, you will find options called TLS and SSL. Then enable TLS 1.1 and 1.2. In case if you are getting any error called TLS or SSL error, then go to Internet Explorer, go to settings, we have internet options, then go to advanced, then you can find at the bottom you find TLS and SSL. So enable TLS 1.1 and 1.2. If you enable this, then you are going to lose that SSL error. That is in case you are getting SSL error. In case you are getting this SSL error. In case you are getting that SSL error. Now how to log into the data loader? How to log into the data loader? If you want to log into the data loader, there are two formats: using OAuth, using password. We can log in using OAuth, we can log in using password. Okay, 5 minutes ago, 5 minutes. So we can log in using data loader. How many ways we can log in? Using OAuth, using password. If you are using OAuth, then choose the environment production that asks you username, password, login. It will send the verification code to your email ID, OTP code to your email ID, enter the OTP. If you want to log in using a password, first generate a security token. How do you generate a security token? Username, my settings, personal, reset my security token, reset security token. Then you will get a security token to your email ID. Then username is Salesforce username, password is Salesforce password plus security token. So this is the process how you can log into the Salesforce data loader. Once you log into the data loader, what are the objects that data loader is going to support? What are the objects? What are the standard objects that data loader is supporting? What are the standard objects that data loader is supporting? It will support all the custom objects, but only few standard objects. So what are the few standard objects it is supporting? Lead, account, contact, opportunity, price book, product, event, task, user. So these are only the standard objects which the data loader supports. These are only the standard objects which data loader will support. Right. Which custom objects it is going to support? All the custom objects it is going to support. Then how many records that data loader is going to support? Data loader will support up to 5 million records. Up to how many records that data loader can support? Up to 5 million records. Then if you want to export the data, what is the operation we are doing? You want to export, click on the export button, choose the object what you want to, choose the object, give the destination folder name, choose the list of fields what you want to export, click on finish. It's for the same I have given here. So what is, select export option, choose the object, specify the location and extraction file name, select the fields, specify the filter condition, click on finish. Then same thing will repeat for export all. But what is the difference between export and export all? When we export the data, only the data in the object is exported. When you use export all the data in the object, including the data that is in the recycle bin is exported. Including the data that is in the recycle bin that is exported. Now, how do you insert the data? If you want to insert the data, choose the insert button, choose the object, choose the source file, then go for mapping. Choose mapping. Then you can give auto match. Fields which are not matching, you can manually map it. Right. Then click on next, finish. The same thing I have given here. Select insert, choose the object, choose the source file, make a field mapping, then choose the destination folder, click on finish. When you are inserting the data using a data loader, when you are inserting a data using a data loader, when we are inserting a data using a data loader, all the validation rules are obeyed, all the required fields are obeyed. All the validation rules are obeyed, all the required fields are obeyed. All the required fields data should be entered, otherwise it fail. All the validation rules should be entered, otherwise it will fail. All the required fields and validation rules should be updated. In case if there is a lookup field or a master detail field, what type of value you have to provide? If there is a lookup field or a master detail field, then we have to enter 18 character ID of the parent record. If there is a lookup field or a master detail field, then we have to provide 18 character ID of the parent. Then similarly perform an update, delete. If you want to perform update or delete, we have to provide Salesforce record ID. we have to provide Salesforce record ID. Then we have seen how to perform an upset. If you want to perform an upset, we need to create external ID field. Which field can be an external ID field? External ID field can be email field, text field, or a number field. So we can define any one of the text field, email field, or a number field as an external ID. Right. If external ID already exists, what happened? Update. Doesn't exist, what happened? It will create. If duplicates are found, it throws error message. That's what I have given. Yeah. If we create a record, doesn't matter from where the record is created. If there are any workflows, automatically they are executed. Doesn't matter from where.
Where is
Come again?
where is the Salesforce record ID? In this how to perform update and delete, where can we find the record ID?
Now, when you want to delete, first, you need to export the data and delete. Export the data, get the ID, then delete it.
Okay, where to find the record ID? Provide Salesforce record ID to perform update or delete.
Whatever the data you want to delete, first export the data.
Okay.
When you export, you are going to have record ID, then you delete it.
Okay. Got it. Okay. Thank you.
Just give me 1 minute, I'll be back. 1 quick minute. The fields which I am not entering, those field values are set as null if I choose this option. Now I told there are 5 million records which are going to be supported, but all the 5 million records are not going to be uploaded at a time. So what happened? The 5 million records will be divided into number of batches, and batches will be processed parallelly. So your data loader will run as asynchronous operation, which means if I have 1000 records, they break them into 200, one batch, 200, 200, and 200. So here all the 5 batches are running parallelly. All the 5 batches are running parallelly. So I cannot guarantee order of their insertion. All the 1000 records are inserted, but I cannot guarantee what is the order of their insertion. Now when you are breaking the records, when you have 5 million records, you are breaking the records into number of batches. So what is the default batch size? By default it is going to take 200. If you want, you can increase the size to 2000. Maximum size is 2000, minimum size is 1, default size is 200. Then this is the default. Up to 5 million records it is going to support. Up to 5 million records it is going to support. But to support this 5 million, the data is broken into number of batches. So what is the size of batch? By default it is going to take 200. If you want, you can give maximum as 2000. Now basically Salesforce will support the format of month, day, year. Salesforce is going to be taking the date field as month, day, year. If you want to take European format, we have to enable so that when you enter the data in the European format, it accepts. Otherwise, by default, it will take it as month, year, day. You want to accept the European format, enable this. The next point, whoever is the user who logged in, his time zone is taken into account. Whoever is the user who logged in, his time zone is taken into account. If you don't give any time zone, the system on which we have installed the data loader, that time zone will be taken. By default, user who logged in, his time zone is taken into account. By default, user who logged in, his time zone is taken into account. His time zone is taken into account. If you don't mention any time zone, then by default, system time zone will be taken. Right. So these are the general settings what we are going to speak. So that's what I mentioned here. So data loader is what type of operation? Asynchronous operation. What is the default size of the data loader? 200. Minimum size 1. Maximum size 2000. Then how to insert the null values? Data loader, settings, insert null values. How to use the European date format? Then enable the option. So which time zone is applied for the user? Which time zone is applied for the user? So by default, which time zone is applied on the data loader? By default, whichever the user has logged in, his time zone is applied in the data loader. Now, will the data loader avoid duplicate record? Data loader will not avoid duplicate records. If you provide Satish123 headabyte, Satish123 headabyte, it will create two records. So the data loader will not be avoiding any duplicate records. The next question is, can we run the data loader from command line? Yes, we can run the data loader from command line. What if you have any master detail field or lookup field? The ID of the master record or lookup field we have to provide. So I'll revise these few points in the next session. Okay. So see you back in the next session. Probably we'll continue tomorrow. We'll have a session. Tomorrow I'm going to take a session. Tomorrow